Hi, my name is Terrace Travers, and first I want to start off by apologizing for getting this video to you a bit late. I am doing the summary, chapter 11, the title being The Self and Others from About Behaviorism by B.F. Skinner. To start, he states complex contingencies of reinforcement create complete repertoires, and as we have seen, different contingencies create different persons in the same skin. This means when possible events or situations are reinforced, they lead to a series of behaviors that are known and ready to be demonstrated. So the first subtitle is Knowing Oneself. First, it is important to those asking. Second, it is important to oneself. Self-knowledge comes from self and self-image. Skinner uses the example, a tennis player gets mad at himself because he misses an easy shot. An example I can think of is I get mad at myself when I'm overly tired in the morning because I stayed up at night when I should have been sleeping. A similar distinction is self-knowledge, and what society feels is important is related to self-knowledge. The more we know and can understand the behavior within others, the more we can understand ourselves. There can be other things happening in the environment, such as the contingencies, that influence what we know. Knowing another person is another subtitle. Questions that arise in this section are, what do you, why do you behave the way you do, and what do you feel and what has happened? So you can discover how one really feels by changing contingencies. It is easier to know what another person is feeling if it's transmitted verbally. Skinner discusses two techniques, which is encounter versus conflict and communicating feelings. Both are reinforced by effectives on others, and we should start by discovering feelings to understand why one does what he does. So the next subtitle would be Managing Oneself. Behaviors manage self. The goal of self-management is self-fulfillment and self-accusation. So discovering positive reinforcers. Skinner discusses three management strategies. The first one, self-management strategies, which is using past history to offset adverse stimuli. So he uses an example involving alcohol. He mentions, you drink alcohol, you get the direct manipulation and feelings and the state of mind. The next morning you may have a hangover, so you may mention, I never want to drink again. An example that I can think of is retail therapy. I get an immediate gratification of shopping, and I was able to get the direct manipulation and feelings and state of mind. However, the following day I'm rethinking my actions and telling myself I will not be spending any more money. The second management strategy that he discusses is intellectual self-management strategy. In this strategy, you arrange a situation in which there is little to interfere within a given kind of behavior. The example he provided in the book was in regards to a study or a studio. I kind of think of athletes using music before games. They put their self in this state of mind where they kind of can just focus on the music and prepare for the games. So that is an example of arranging a situation in which there is little to interfere within that given kind of behavior. The third management strategy that he discusses is ethical self-management strategy. The example, artist imagining a picture and using his personal experiences to add to that image. The next subtitle he discussed is Managing Another Person. Within this subtitle, he does provide several examples, such as operant conditions. describing contingencies, emotional and motivational measures, teaching, helping, governing, and entertaining. The last subtitle is The Self of Others. The major influences which are genetic endowment, environmental history, and current setting. So my question for you, and this is related to the self-management subtitle that falls under managing oneself. Can you think of a different example of a self-management strategy that is often used in your everyday life? So if you remember, and previously I discussed, Skinner gave the example of alcohol being the self-management strategy. He gave the study or studio as intellectual, and for ethical, he discussed the artist imagining something from a personal experience to add to that image. So my example was retail therapy. So can you think of a different example of a self-management strategy that is often used in your everyday life? One that has not been previously discussed. This can be self-management strategy, intellectual self-management strategy, or ethical self-management strategy. Again, sorry that this video is getting to you kind of late. I hope you can comment and bring on some discussions. This chapter still was a little difficult for me to completely understand. I'm excited about our discussions, and good night.